is what Hobby King sells as a high performance airplane on their website for about $100 with shipping. Now I am gonna try to be very honest with you and give you a heads up before you buy this model. I think it's called a racer or a high performance something racer, and this is the blue version. There's also an orange version. I'm guessing just that the difference between the two of them is the color. So be careful. This is not an easy to fly airplane. This is actually one of the hardest airplanes I've ever flown, and it will really help you if you know how to set it up from the beginning, so it will not be a quick crash. Let me show you first of all how this airplane is put together. It has quite a large bay, very nice large bay. Very low quality servos, as you can see there. I wouldn't trust those. I don't like the system when it's got a split elevator and the rods are coming together into this one servo. So I really don't like this system, and I will modify it. I'll put two servos here and I'll mix them correctly together as they should be mixed, not all the strain on this little servo, which if it fails, you know, the model just gonna crash. And given the speeds that this thing is capable of, I wouldn't trust this. So this is a no-no. That's one. The second thing is, suppose this airplane comes and stays together by 3 screws. The 2 screws that are holding the landing gear and one here. Now of course I've glued this wings. I didn't like those screws. They always tend to have a play in the foam, and eventually they will just fail. The tail comes separately, and it's got to be put together with 2 screws and a plastic piece. And I also glued this tail together too. It's not very hard to actually put together. It's quite a breeze, but if you really want to make it bulletproof, then you have to spend a bit of time. Now I have used this battery to fly it. I've used 2 batteries. I've used a 4-cell and a 3-cell, and this 4-cell 1.8 just fits perfectly here in the battery bay. Okay, so it's just made for this model, and the canopy will come over and will just hold up the battery in place. Now with that battery over there, and just ignoring for a second the canopy, the CG comes right where, well, just a little bit, just in front of this main spar. I assume that the modelers really wanted this to be the CG. Usually it's the rule of a pretty known rule that where the spar of the wing comes, that's where the CG should be. But anyway, so with that battery, the CG is a little bit forward. We should give this airplane a bit more stability. Well, that's in terms of what it comes to. It's got a 4S capable motor, a pretty big AC. I'm not sure how big the AC is, but I can tell you that it will manage 450 watts. That this motor is pulling at full throttle. Prop is a 7x6 prop, and it will spin pretty fast on 4-cell. It would not do very well on 3-cell. So if you're planning on flying this airplane on 3-cell, I suggest changing the prop to a higher pitch prop, because you will have less power available and lower RPM. However, the only reason I bought this plane was speed. So as it is, and as it being sold, it's not fulfilling the purpose. I am not pleased with it. It flies like crap. It flies like a brick. It has absolutely no control. It has got nothing to do with flying fast. If you watch most of my videos, you will see that I have other airplanes that they fly really fast, and I've got jets and that are perfectly under control. This thing, when I flew this thing the first time, it really felt like it's out of control. I mean, it would feel like it would do things on its own. It would feel like it's not very stable, super sensitive on its axis, and the quality is just not there to support this kind of high performance. So like I said, you cannot trust one of these servos here and the cheap servos that are on the ailerons and so on and so forth. I'm gonna plug in the model and show you what settings I have and what's the throw of the surfaces, so you'll have an idea when you're setting up yours, so you won't end up with a quick crash. As you can see, mine is still in one piece. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how the elevator in my setup stays. This is after I flew it, so it's trimmed. Okay, it's trimmed for level flight. So everything is pretty much centered. Okay. The rudder is pretty much useless, except for some really coordinated turns that you don't quite need. The rudder will probably get in your way and will make the airplane stall faster. So pretty neutral surfaces. And now let me show you the throws that I had today when I flew it. So for the elevator, don't go more than this. So this would be maximum deflection. I only use like this. This is what you need to fly this airplane. No more than that. It's super sensitive. In terms of, you hear that? Now that's a bad servo, and it's like tension on the elevator servo. Like I said, a pretty bad design. Now look at the, this is how the max aileron movement is, and this is not like, this would be a super fast roll in flight. So I have, let's look at my radio. I have 57 is dual rates for my aileron, and 57% for my rates, and 41% for my expo. That's for my aileron. Let's see the let's see the elevator. The elevator, I got it at 88% dual rates and 44% expo, and probably the rudder is unchanged or very something similar because I don't use it. 68% and 34%. So you can imagine that when you fly the airplane, your movement is no bigger than this, okay? And at this kind of movement, you can't even see the surfaces actually moving. So as you can see, normal flight. Let's watch the elevator, okay? So you can understand how sensitive this thing is. It's really sensitive. It's heavy. It's damn heavy. Alright, I have an electronic scale here, and I weighted this thing. It's got 750 grams with the battery. So you can imagine such a big, heavy object with small wings. It will fly like a brick. It will fly really, really fast. And it's okay if it flies fast. There's nothing wrong with flying fast. But this thing is really a bit unstable for what it is. The landing gear is basically useless unless you have a runway. You cannot land with this thing, and it's gonna be pretty tricky to take off. So what I'm gonna do next for the next phase of this airplane, just gonna take this off and try to hand launch it, and hopefully I'm not gonna break the prop when I'm gonna land. So this is useless. I've tried 3 times to land, and 3 times the plane tumbled over when it came in contact with the ground. It's, you know, wheels too small, low quality. They point whatever they want. You know, you can't make them go straight. When it touches down, it's the CG, and being such a small airplane, just make it tumble, and it's horrible. When it's gonna take off with full up elevator, it's just gonna. You gotta be hands-on the first time you fly it, because it will wanna do like things. It's fast, but not as fast. So I would say stay well under 100 miles per hour on 4S. On 4S, I would say maybe 80. We'll go like 80, 85. I'm not sure, but I definitely under 100. And it would like to stall, so be careful how much amount of elevator you put in, because that elevator will stall this little wing quickly. So you can't quite say it's an acrobatic airplane. It's a fast airplane only. You can probably do fast rolls and other stuff, but it's very heavy. It's very heavy, very small, so you have to keep it in range. You can't fly, you know, high or too high or too far away. I mean, you can fly high, but you won't be able to see it very well. So these are things that are making this airplane pretty difficult. So I would say this is an expert only airplane. It needs work. It has quality issues. It's fast, but not fast enough for what is being sold for. And I would say it's completely opposite of being stable. Maybe a gyro or some stabilizer will help. I will try to put a 3-axis stabilizer and fine tune it so it will not have this kind of roll behavior even at the slightest inputs. So basically this is it. If you like, I mean, it is what it is. And if you look on the forum, you'll see that a lot of people crashed them, and I can see why. Definitely can see why. Another advice is when you're gonna make a turn, it likes to stall in that turn, especially if you want to make a tight turn. You gotta put a lot of power. If you plan on flying this on 3 cells, it's gonna be pretty tough, because the prop is then the setup with this 7x6 prop is made for 4 cells. So 3 cells you'll probably end up going 75%, 80% power, just to kind of have a fun flight, or not even a fun flight, I would say a controlled fun flight. I don't like airplanes that go 70. Airplanes that go 70. Jets, I'm fine. I fly jets at 100%. That's okay. But for an airplane, you don't expect at least to come back 60% or 50-60% for a normal level flight. Well, not this one. It has it definitely has stamina. It has too much of it. It's got its own personality, and definitely a no for the beginners. Beginners will crash them 100%. I got fresh impressions in my head, because I just flew this model half an hour ago, and there you have it. Honest. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and if you are from Chicago area and you want to fly indoors, don't forget to visit us at flyinggym.com. Alright, all good.